Hello and welcome. Long ago, every fairy tale used to start with, "Once upon a time there was." Turn to modern times, it now begins somewhat like this: "If elected, I will." Wherever in the world elections are near, you will start hearing these more and more often. You would be made promises to fetch the stars from the skies and to make the impossible possible. I wanted to do a video about something totally different, but the current events that I'm looking at and some of the news that reached me, which nobody on the mainstream media is covering, it is another alarming thing. I wanted to talk about the particular timing of the movie release Oppenheimer and how people are being brainwashed into thinking nuclear war, atom bomb, well, it's not that bad, but I'll keep that topic for another time. In the US as well as in Canada and in Europe, you would have seen during Australia and New Zealand as well, where a lot of money was squandered, where it was given out to people. There was a lot of money spent on billions of dollars. But aren't you intrigued why wasn't even a fraction of it injected into improving the health system, whether it's in Britain, whether it's in the US, whether it's in Canada or any other country? Why all of that was squandered into getting people were given free money instead of injecting it into smaller businesses in particular, so that they can keep their employees, they can keep paying them, and that would have been a brilliant way to pay them. And you should have subsidized and given incentives to those smaller businesses to increase their wages in case they are facing any difficulties. But no, you took the easy way out, through which corruption was a lot easier. Now the war drums are being beaten. In the US particularly, you must be seeing that there's a lot of issues related to housing, homelessness, things being out of reach. People are now cutting down on meals and lunches and breakfasts. Food is becoming scarce, which is my main topic of the day. And if anybody related to the field of farming watches this, I would love to have your feedback as to what sort of difficulties and stricter government regulations you're facing. Farming is something that is being slowly and steadily taken over by the big corporations. Now, when you look at the WEF, that's the face of the Global Central Council that will be ruling you instead of your politicians in the near future. They are the front men and front women of the elites that basically run this world. So, keeping the farmers in mind, farming is being made more and more difficult for the regular farmers, and the big companies are slowly and steadily taking over farms only to control people through food, and that's one way of establishing a global government, is to control the flow of food. Russia, India, and the Emirates, Russia has called off the deal for exporting wheat. India has stopped its export of rice. UAE has stopped its export of food items, and so have the Eastern and Western African countries. Whoever is exporting any sort of grain is slowly and steadily tightening their fist. Where are we headed to? Is a war and then global famine. Probably global famine first and then war. I don't know the order. But this is what I wanted to talk about and bring to your attention.